Okay, here we go. Actually putting translation into practice. So you've already done the CK12. You did that intro where it was that jumbled paragraph, and you guys looked at the notes. And so now we're going to put it all into practice. And so we started everything out with DNA replication. And so we'll start with DNA replication. And doesn't matter what I'm doing, you guys. I like to break mine up into those codons, those groups of 3. It just helps me keep track of where I'm at. You're not required to do this, but I've just learned that I make fewer mistakes if I do that. So if you want to take time to do that, please just go put lines in there so it breaks them up into 3. This is DNA replication, so I'm going to do this as a reminder. We're dealing with DNA, so A to T, C to G, and so T to A to T, C to G. So I'm just going to fill in the complementary strand of DNA. Complementary meaning just the opposite strand. And again, I'll do the little lines just so I can keep track. It just helps me know where I'm at. And I do make mistakes when I do this, you guys, so hopefully I'm not going too fast and put in a wrong letter. But if I do, please just automatically correct it for me, because in the actual process of DNA replication, transcription, and translation, mistakes are made. We'll talk about that. They're called mutations. And so there's DNA replication. We just completed the strand. Go ahead and finish that for strands 2 and 3. Again, as always, pause the video if you need some more time to work on it or get caught up. But I'm going to keep moving to the next part because you guys have the ability to pause. So now we're dealing with here, just so you know, this strand is the exact same right here. So we're dealing with the exact same strand. Molecule 2 is the same, molecule 3 is the same, so we're dealing with the same strand. We're just going to do different things with it. And now we're going to do transcription. And now remember, for transcription, we won't see any T's. If you're putting T's in, you're doing something wrong. So just make sure you're not putting any thiamines in there. RNA only has uracil. And so again, I like to do codons. I like to break them up into 3s. I make few. I notice I say I make fewer mistakes. It's not that I do it perfectly, but I make fewer mistakes that way. And so using Chargaff's rule, T bonds to A bonds to U, C bonds to G. Remember right here, that should not be a T. That should be a U. That's the only change we're making for RNA. And I'll just keep going. C bonds with G, G bonds with C, G bonds with C. I keep going. A bonds with U, T to A, G to C. U, A, G. So now we have messenger RNA. And again, this was done in the nucleus. Now again, repeat that process for molecule 2, molecule 3. And then we'll move on to translation. Again, pause the video as needed. Now remember, this is where students get confused. In our notes, they looked kind of like this. They were big blocky things. And then the amino acid was attached to it. But down here, we would have the, oops, I don't want it. This is tRNA. And the tRNA, of course, is reading the messenger RNA. And this is the piece I want you to remember. Messenger RNA has codons. Transfer RNA has. So here the codon, start codon, A, U, G. The anticodon would be U, A, C. And so now here, we're doing anticodons. We're just going to record what's found on the transfer RNA, not the messenger RNA. So in order to do that, I'm going to use messenger RNA. So I'm going to use this strand, and this is where kids get confused. And I'm going to do the opposite down there. I'm going to do the opposite of that strand. So I'm going to keep that one visible. And I'm going to do the anticodons, or the transfer RNA. So I start with a UG, and that would be UAC. And then opposite of G is C, opposite of C is G. And now I just keep going. And again, my apologies, you guys, if I go too fast. I might make a mistake, like I said, so my apologies if I do. And so there would be the anticodons for that first strand of messenger RNA. And again, you would repeat that of course, for molecule 2 and then for molecule 3. Again, pause the video as needed. The last part is now creating the amino acid sequence. And here, notice, we use the messenger RNA. So when we are going to actually translate, we're not going to use, do not use transfer RNA. You must use messenger RNA. This is super important. This is the number one mistake that students make. They accidentally go to the transfer RNA, and then they go use their decoder perfectly, but they're using the wrong strand of RNA, and so unfortunately everything they use is wrong. And so now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And so now here I'm using messenger RNA. So again, I'm going to use that same strand, and I'm going to use that here, but now I'm going to have to use my circle decoder. And again, you see right here, this code is based on messenger RNA codons, not transfer RNA. So try not to make that mistake. Don't use the transfer RNA. So with that said, I'm going to use my first triplet code, my first codon, AUG. And we've already got that one. So A, U, G. And I just have to use the 3-letter code MET. So AUG codes for methionine. And so down here, MET is my first amino acid. Now that that one's in, I'm just going to move to my second one. GCC. So G, C, C. And this one, it doesn't really matter because any letter would give me alanine, but GCC is alanine, so I'm going to use ALA. Oops. And I keep doing that same process as I move all the way down. UAC is my next. Going a little faster, UAC is called tyrosine, TYR. And I just keep moving down my strand of messenger RNA in that exact same fashion. And so just continue that to the end. You'll get a stop codon each time. And then the only caution that I have is, remember, for your next one, you're going to use this strand here and use that strand right there. Remember, don't ever use transfer RNA.